Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucia and this is Lulu's Leaves. Today I wanted to talk to you guys all about my 2021 wish list plants. I have a lot of plants a part of this list, a lot of them being anthuriums and philodendrons. I actually think that those are the only two types of plants on my wish list this year, but honestly that's all that I'm really looking for, so I don't want to just throw things on here that will never end up in my collection. Before we do get into this video though guys, if you aren't already subscribed, make sure you hit that button down below. And if you want some extra content, you can also click the join button to become a member. There is some extra content available for you guys there, and I'm doing a live stream on Friday for my members. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, definitely check that out below. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. But with that being said, let's get straight on into the video. So the first plant on my 2021 wish list is the Anthurium VTI. This plant has been one that has been on other wish list videos, I'm sure. But what I have learned over the last little bit is that I don't want the wide form. I have come across a lot of the wide form or the more immature forms of the VTI, but what I am specifically looking for is a mature specimen that has the more narrow leaves, because I'm not really into the wider VTIs. The picture that I have on the screen here is definitely a good example of the plant that I'm looking for. So if you know of anyone who has one, definitely let me know. I love this plant for the ripply leaves. I love plants that have cool textures, similar to the next plant on this wish list, but this one is extra special because it gets super elongated leaves and it also has kind of that still heart shape to it. So it kind of checks all the boxes for me. It's textured, it's heart-shaped, and it's also elongated. So those are definitely features that I look for in plants. I would say that texture can be replaced with like a velvetiness or a silvery-ish appearance. But yeah, I thought that was a really good plant to put on my wish list again, because I am still looking for it and I know exactly what I'm looking for this time. The next plant on my wish list is the Anthurium radicans, not radicans. The next plant on my wish list is the Anthurium luxurians. This one is definitely a more elusive plant, so it's not one that I'm going to be racing to get. If I can find one for a decent price at a decent size, I might pick one up if I'm able to at that time, but it's not a plant that I'm saving up for or that I would necessarily trade for one of my special plants. So this plant is on my wish list kind of as a test run to see if it stays on my wish list. I don't know for sure that it's one that I'm going to be getting, but it definitely is a plant that intrigues me, so that is why it is on the list. This is the Philodendron Lupinum. This is a beautiful philodendron. It's actually one that morphs over time, and I think that is a really cool feature of a plant if it does change form over its maturity. So this one starts out, as you guys see in the picture, as a really small heart-shaped leaf philodendron. It also has a really nice velvety texture, so if that's something that you're interested in, this might be the plant for you. It also looks adorable climbing up moss poles, but if you do put it on a moss pole, it will likely reach maturity or that later stage of the plant a little bit sooner. So if you want one that is in its juvenile stage and you want to keep it in its juvenile stage for longer, I would suggest not putting it on a moss pole, but it does end up looking very beautiful and gets kind of like a T shape. I'm pretty sure it looks similar to the Anthurium furcatum shape once it is mature. So that is really cool. It also does lose that velvetiness, which is similar to the next plant that I will talk about. It's a good segue into it. But that's actually not my favorite part about this plant. I would prefer if it kept its velvetiness, but I also doubt that I will be able to grow that plant to that size very quickly, so I will be able to enjoy it in its juvenile stage, and I can always cut it back to its juvenile stage to keep that going if that's something that I want to do. That is the Philodendron Lupinum. The next plant on my wish list is another one that is similar. It morphs as well. I am talking about the Philodendron Campos Partuenum. This is a really, really cool plant that also gets a similar shape when it's older. I'm pretty sure that this one actually is tri-lobed though. I could be wrong, but if it's not, it definitely takes on that T shape as well. And you can kind of see that more so in its juvenile stage. It gets those little baby lobes a little bit sooner. You can see in this picture that is kind of a medium stage for this plant. It starts out looking very much like a lighter micans, and then it grows into this shape, and eventually it does lose its velvetyness in its mature stage and goes to that more T or tri-lobed stage. So if you like those morphing plants, you should definitely write these two down on your list. They're very, very cool plants, and they're super cute when they're juvenile too. So yeah, definitely check those out. The next plant on my wish list is another philodendron. It's one that I've actually had before and I got rid of because it wasn't exactly what I wanted. And again, that's going to be a trend for plants this year for me, I think. I'm going to get rid of them if I'm not feeling them or if I don't love them, and I'll just get a different specimen, because recently I've been purchasing more plants that I want rather than species that I want, if that makes sense. I've been looking more at the individual plant than the name of the plant. Like the Ring of Fire that I bought, I actually wasn't super into Philodendron Ring of Fires, and that one just spoke to me, so I got it. So that is definitely going to be a theme on my channel this year. But this next plant is a Philodendron Melanochrysum. So I did actually sell my Melanochrysum in order to purchase another plant, but I don't regret that at all. I definitely want to look for a more mature specimen. I'm looking for one that's a little bit more narrow and probably about this big, if that makes sense. I do have a lead on one. There is an awesome seller that I got my Magnificum from, so I will likely get the plant from them. I'm crossing my fingers that that works out, but for the meantime, while I don't still have this plant, I will put this on my list. It is a beautiful, beautiful plant. It gets those elongated heart-shaped leaves, and it also has some nice veining as well. It's not anything special, but I think for this plant, the key points are definitely the deep dark green color, the length of the plant, and also those beautiful heart-shaped leaves. The next plant on this list is another Anthurium. It is the Anthurium Crystallinum Red. This is an Anthurium that I've had googly eyes for the last few months. I have not seen one in person yet, but I've seen so many pictures of beautiful specimens. And Rachel, if you're watching this, I absolutely love yours. You are the reason that I want this plant. She has a beautiful specimen. I'm not sure where she got it from, but it's definitely one that I want. This plant has leaves that come in very red, similar to the normal crystallinum, but they are a little bit more of a blood red, and they stay a little bit more red for longer. And the petioles stay red, and there's a little bit of red veining in there as well that sticks around. So it definitely makes this one pretty sought after. It's very difficult to find in my area, at least. I haven't seen any for sale since I started this plant journey, but I will also say that I haven't been looking for it this entire time, so maybe I missed it. I will not miss it next time, and I will get one eventually, but probably going to have to get one in a trade, or hopefully I can find one at Secret Garden next season, because obviously shipping is a little bit more difficult in the winter. But we'll see. I might be able to get this plant sooner or later. The next plant on my list is another philodendron. This is a plant that I actually have a lead on. I'm planning to do a trade with my good friend Chloe, Planted in Provo on Instagram if you want to follow her. She has an awesome Instagram. But she has a beautiful Soda Roy, Philodendron Soda Roy, and I cannot wait to do this trade. This plant has the beautiful pillowy heart-shaped leaves that I know and love, and they're also very silvery, and they have a really nice splashing to them as well. So they're silver-ish, and then they also have like a deeper silver splashing on them, if that makes sense. But you can see that in the picture on the screen here as well. They are truly a beautiful philodendron, and they get really, really big and beautiful. This plant isn't on my wish list, but the Philodendron Majestic, which is a hybrid between the Soda Roy and the Varigata, is also a beautiful plant. But I really don't think that I'm going to be able to find one this year, or at least afford it, because they are hot and everyone is looking for one. So I will stick to the Soda Roy for now, and eventually if I want the Majestic, I will start looking. But for now, I won't be too picky and I'll go with the Soda Roy. The next plant is another elusive plant, but I will say this is probably at the top of my wish list. I am talking about the variegated Philodendron Biliary. This is an incredible plant that I think just about everybody has on their wish list in the back of their mind, but this is a plant that I feel that I need. If you guys have watched my videos before, you know that I'm a big fan of the Philodendron Biliary, the regular green one, so it's probably my favorite plant. I feel that if I'm going to get any special rare plant, that I should definitely go ahead and get the variegated Biliary, because it is my dream plant. It's just a variegated version of my favorite plant, which would be the cherry on top of the cake. Although I really shouldn't use that analogy because I don't like cherries on cakes. So it's the chocolate dipped strawberry on the top of my cake. But this plant really does have my favorite type of variegation. It has more of a yellowy cream variegation rather than a pure white. And I definitely do prefer that. I would say that it's not super yellowy, it's more cream. But again, that's really down my alley. So yeah, if you have one and you want to share by any chance, I will happily trade you just about anything in my collection for that plant. But let me know. This is the Anthurium Silver Blush, I believe. It's a super silvery crystallinum hybrid, I think. I think it's a hybrid, or it's just a super silvery crystallinum. But it's an incredible plant and just shimmers when you see it. There's basically no green left at this point. It's all silver for the most part, and that's something that I find super attractive. This one is lower on my wish list, I will admit, but it's definitely still up there. I absolutely love it, and I think it's gorgeous. If I do come across it and I can afford it at the time, I will likely get it. But until then, we will see. It's definitely not my #1 priority. And next up, we have the Anthurium Melanochrysum. This is an incredible Anthurium. I don't actually know the difference between this and the Chamberlainii. I thought they were completely separate plants, which I still think they are. But when I looked it up online to find the photo for you guys, I found a lot of Chamberlainii, or what I at least saw or thought to be Chamberlainii. So let me know if you guys know if they're the same plant or if I just had some weird Google search going on. But yeah, I specifically like the Melanochrysum. It seems very different than the Chamberlainii to me, but I don't know. You let me know. The leaves come in very, very red, and they stay that way for a few months, and then they eventually fade to green, but they're still a super cute shape. I think if you're into that red color, you'll definitely like one of these. They are super cherry red, and there's not much more to say about them. They are what they are, and if you like them, you like them. If you don't, you don't. But I definitely do. So if I have some influx of cash, I might pick one up. Next up is actually another one that's pretty high on my wish list. Probably not for everyone. Definitely not for everyone, because I know most people don't like upright philodendrons, but this is the Philodendron Black Cardinal Varigata. I absolutely love the variegation in this one. I know that's kind of a controversial opinion because it does look a little bit dirtier, but I don't know, I like it. I think it's really, really cool. And I like the fact that because the plant is so dark to begin with, the variegation is also darker, and you get some pink and some beige in there. It's almost similar to the strawberry shake in a way. I know it's not, but it seems that way a little bit to me. But yeah, this is definitely one that I am looking out for, so if you have a lead, let me know. The second to last plant on this list is another philodendron, and that is the Philodendron Domesticum Varigata. This is a plant that I'm definitely interested in. I would say that the reasons that I like this plant are very similar to the reasons why I like the variegated Biliary. It has those nice elongated leaves, it has those nice lobes too eventually once it matures, and it has that nice creamy variegation. So definitely that is another plant that I'm looking for. If I'm able to find that before the variegated Biliary, I'll be very happy because it's kind of a stepping stone for me in my head. So yeah, I know they're very different plants, but from the picture you can probably see what I'm talking about, and yeah, I think that it's definitely a cool plant, and I will also be actively searching this one out. Last but not least is another quite elusive plant, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to find a pure, smaller specimen of this, but I'm really looking for an Anthurium Papilla. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. I actually don't know how to pronounce this one. You guys know I'm usually pretty good at pronouncing plant names, but not this one. I just can't wrap my brain around it. But this is a beautiful, beautiful Anthurium. Definitely a harder one to find. Usually they're crossed with many other Anthuriums because of their beauty, but it's actually very difficult to find a pure Papillalum. Anyways, you can see it's beautiful for its matte texture, but it also does get a little bit of a glittery shimmer in the light, and the elongated leaves are also very, very beautiful. So if that's something that you're interested in, you're looking for some dark leaves, some elongated leaves, some heart-shaped leaves, and something that's a little bit more elusive, this is the Anthurium for you. But let me find one first. I'm just joking. Anyways, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I really, really hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up down below, and also subscribe so you don't miss out on my other content. If you'd like to join as a member, you can also click the link in the description. And if you want some Lulu's Leaves merch, you can also find that link down below. But with that being said, I hope you guys have such a great day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!